Yeah, I just find fishing a different location, even if you're doing the similar style of fishing, spin fishing where you're having to sort of work at it. I just find a different location is always just freshens you up a little bit, and a different day, you know. It's got some lovely crispy air down here today. Be very careful when you're on the rocks. Take your time, because even the driest looking rocks can actually become suddenly slippery, or you think you can master climbing around on the rocks. You can't. You can't, and if you do make a mistake, it can be quite serious. I actually bust a $350 brand new reel clambering around on the rocks. So it can be pretty catastrophic. But anyway, what was I saying? I was just saying, yeah, it's just a change of location, just freshens you up a little bit. You know, and also it's when you can clearly see there's really not that many salmon anglers around, or anyone else around, it just makes it much more appetising. I was fishing these other canals yesterday, and there's loads of different people, and I like freshwater anglers, but they get a little bit political sometimes, and that can sort of can drain you a little bit without sort of, you know, getting into a bit of a disagreement. But you know, it's just nice just to sort of do it when there's not so many of them around. Hello, there you go, look. There's something over there. He's on the surface. Now I'm disappointed that I haven't got my black and gold spoon with me. Because I didn't buy one, because I've just had salmon on the brain. I've actually got something on at the minute which has been absolutely brilliant for Chinook salmon. It's actually called a Chinook. It's got pink on it. But I'm thinking a trout, although it's not my preferred lure for a trout. When they're hungry, them sort of fish, they're so big and robust and good conditioned, I don't think they'll be that fussy, whether it's got a bit of pink on it or it's a bit of black and gold or whatever. So at the end of the day, I'm a great believer, if you've got your best lure in the tackle box, put it on. You can always try other shit later on if you're not being that successful. You can always sort of troll through and try all the different bits and pieces if you're not getting any luck for a particular reason. Early mornings are best. But if you've got a quiet lake and there's not too much, you know, and you've got good conditions, any time of day can be quite good. The afternoon for me, freshwater fishing, you know, you want to sort of avoid it really. A bright and sunny afternoon. See, look, we've got a tangle here, so we just quickly that's okay, because this sort of splashing around on the surface, if there's any trout, they sort of be attracted to that. They'd be, hello, what's this? What's this, mice going for a swim or something, do you know what I mean? I like mice apparently. So, you never know with this sort of fishing. There's some big trout in here, big rainbow trout in here, brown trout. The last one I caught here, that was almost like I wound into a snag. I was like, hello, what's going on here though? It didn't really feel fishy, it didn't feel anything. It's sort of almost like just snagged up. And then it started to kick. And I was like, oh, hello. And then I was like, oh shit, this is actually quite a big fish. And then it jumped out of the water and I was like, holy shit, this is a big fish. And it was a beautiful fish as well. Rainbows are very beautiful. They're not my preference for eating, but as a sport fish, for jumping out of the water in size and for good looking fish. But if I get one today, that'll be released. I mean, if you've got a smoker or something, if you've got a decent smoker and you know what you're doing with the smoke machine, then fair enough. This lure is... there's another one, look. God, that drives you crazy when you see him leap out of the water like that. That might have been a salmon, that one. So I'm not actually getting too keyed up this morning because I had quite a good day yesterday. I had 3 salmon yesterday. And I had 3 followers who followed the lure right in, didn't take it, and I had 2 bites. So it's 8 all in all in one day, so I was pretty sort of quite excited with that. So this morning, if we can latch onto something, that will be an achievement. But I've got a whole host of different sort of ticers, but this can get quite expensive, this sort of fishing, because generally the fish are either very close in or on the bottom, and when you fish close in and on the bottom and you're fishing treble hooks, you do tend to lose a lot of gear, and they're not cheap. They're not cheap. Not if you get buying the good lures, the good spoons. It all adds up. I mean, I went in there the other day. It's like $30 just for a couple of lures. You know, and with fuel and all the line and everything. That all adds up. I don't care what anyone says. That all adds up. But they are. If you want the fish, you gotta fish close in and deep down. You get your fish high up in the water. You can get them anywhere, but the majority of fish are in the snaggy areas. So, but anyway, I had a good day yesterday and just a beautiful location today. So I'll try and hang on here as long as possible today. Whether I'll be back tomorrow, I don't know. See how it goes. It's quite an exciting spot. It's a big area as well. It's like you could spend a few hours in one area quite happily, and then you just later on in the day you'll discover another spot and you'll be going, oh shit, fuck, if only I'd just gone there straight away. But it's a discovery sort of aspect of everything. You just have to sort of do your time at a venue to learn it. I mean, I was up at the other canal yesterday, and by the time I've done a day and a half, I'd met enough anglers, watched enough anglers, fished enough hours to sort of say to myself, well, you know, we've pretty much got it covered, you know. So you get to a spot and you sort of, you know, if it's not a local spot, you're trying to read it all the time you're there. And there's a lot of people catching salmon on bait. Some kiddies going for trout on those eggs. You know, so there's bait options too with a float, whether you're just ledgering on the bottom. But here would be good for a float because there's no current. So I might do a bit of that later on. Might fish the evening. Okay, nothing yet. All right, I'll get back to you guys. We'll get something on. Okay, cheers guys.